Welcome to Lift the Gate with Lift Business Resources, where we break down the barriers to growing your business with real, honest conversations. I'm Katie Santoro, and today we're lifting the gate on the hiring model we've built at Lift Business Resources, one rooted in ethical employment, fair wages, and long-term support. This is something that's at the root of our mission, and we're hoping that if you're considering hiring support, this conversation will help you make an informed decision of how and where you hire that support. Today, I'm joined by our COO, Meagan Martin, who helps lead everything behind the scenes to make sure our team and in turn our clients are truly supported. Meagan does everything from recruiting our team to overseeing mentorship, payroll, the books behind everything, all of our operations. So Meagan, thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to be here with us.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is such an important topic, and I'm glad that we're finally putting this out here on our channel.
Me too. This is something that you and I talk about so much, and we really let it drive a lot of our decisions in how we've scaled our business. So it drives some of our bigger strategy decisions. So let's get in. So Meagan, one of the first tasks that you and I took on when we started working together was moving from an independent contractor model to moving to an employment model. This isn't something that was easy, and it's, on some days I think we're like, this is really difficult. Like today, going back and forth with payroll and taxes, there's just so many different levels of what we have to do as employees versus contracting people. But let's talk about it. So why do we employ our assistants instead of independent contractors?
So we believe that if someone is doing employee level work, that they deserve employee level protections, benefits, stability. We didn't want that tax liability on our team members every year. Contractors often get none of that. They freelance, they churn up business, and the churn rate's between 30 and 50% per year. There's not a longevity there.
Yeah, for either side, right? Like
Yeah.
you're hiring a freelancer and you've 30 to 50% churn rate. That means chances are by the end of the year, that person's not going to be with you anymore because they're going to have moved on. And we do firmly believe that this is employee level work. I mean, we're asking people to be plugged in, be consistent, be there on a daily basis. And that's not something that you would generally ask from a contractor. Something that makes it also a little different is, there is at times we've got to provide training, right? There's ongoing training that has to happen in these roles, especially in a virtual situation. So for us, it's a lot of AI training, a lot of security training, those ongoing things that you can't provide to a contractor. You don't provide contractors training. You can't require them to go through training. So this allows us that ability to treat them as employees and have a little bit more control while also giving them the stability, the benefits, the mentorship, all those protections. Let's talk a little bit, Meagan, about the people we hire and how we came to decide. And I feel so strongly about this, so I'll probably like interrupt you because I get real heated about things. But like, how did we come? What was it about the people that we hire that made us feel so strongly about this?
So, one of the things that really drove you to start this business is that you saw a need for both skilled work and a place for working parents. You started this business during COVID and everything was in an upheaval. So you really saw that need for caregivers to have meaningful employment.
And still, like, regardless of COVID being done and people kind of going back to full-time workforce, even if we don't have the things that have not changed is that daycares can still be wildly inconsistent,
And so
wildly
expensive.
expensive. I heard a statistic the other day. I'm in Virginia. If you have under school age, like 4 and under, and an infant in daycare at the same time, it's $30,000 a year. That is
I would say that's a lower figure.
yeah.
My
It's
experience is it's more, but
Well, if you're in an experience like you or some of our, actually, we have a ton of multiples on our team.
you
If you've got
do.
2 infants in daycare full time, you're above 30 grand. You're well above that. That was just kind of the statistic they were using to talk about the average family, right? Like your 4-year-old and your infant.
Right.
But everybody has different types of families and they're built differently. And not only that, but we're in the sandwich generation, so many of us. So we're taking care of our parents as well, which is going to be, already is, and is going to be a huge financial burden for the caretakers in our society moving forward.
Yeah. So that was what drove you in the beginning. And that's one of the things that continues to drive us is
Yeah.
to allow those people that are caretaking to have gainful and meaningful employment for themselves and their family.
Yeah.
There are so many of our team members that come to me after they've started working and they're like, I didn't know how much I needed this
Hmm.
until I started working again.
Yeah. It's
And
not, and not just financially.
no, 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 no. It gives them purpose outside of their four walls and outside of their family obligations, which is something that I think people miss.
They do. It, and the, on the financial side of it, what we were kind of finding in the contract model is if you are taking a caretaker out of their caretaking roles in the home and asking them to work part-time, which a lot of families need, right? I mean, most families need. Most families can't live off of one income. And it's a lot to put on the caretaker to ask them to work full-time and to caretake full-time. But if you're going to take them out of that caretaking and ask them to work, part-time as well to help cover some of those expenses, it does not make sense if they're doing it in a gig role. And we see women in gig roles in so many positions where, they're driving Uber and they're doing the what is the thing where they go shopping for you and we don't have it out here where I live.
Instacart.
Instacart, yeah, they're doing those types of things. And at the end of the year, when taxes are filed and their income has maybe pushed them into the next tax bracket, or they're paying, up to 30% in or in self-employment taxes, their spouse is going to look at those numbers and go,
What's the
it
point?
makes it makes more sense for you to be home caretaking. It puts such a huge burden on families to give them that full tax liability when we're asking them to leave another super, and I feel very strongly about this. The caretaker role is such an important role in our societies to support our families. And when you're asking them to take away from that, you need to compensate them fairly for that time. Just feel very,
I
I'm
want
passionate
to
about
talk a
it.
little bit. I know 100%. I also want to talk a little bit about this because one of the things that we ask is that all of our team members provide distraction-free time blocks for us.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
even though everyone is a caretaker, they do have the space and ability to work in a distraction-free arena to provide that good quality work and to take their purpose just for themselves and their clients in that
Yeah.
moment. So
And
that is something that we require from our
yeah.
caretakers.
And it's such like a kind of cyclical thing, but because we employ them, we can ask for that. You
Right.
can't necessarily ask a freelancer or a contractor to, time block out time just for you. A lot of times they're probably not going to be. And the freelancers and the gig workers, it's wildly inconsistent because they never know exactly what their income is going to be. So they're maybe not blocking that time out, right? Our model is set up in a way where, we do flat rate packages, and we pay the assistants on that flat rate. We're not saying, hey, we're billing the client for 10 hours, and if you bill 4, we're paying you for 4. We're saying, hey, we're billing the client for 10 hours. You need to be available for those 10 hours. But in turn, we're paying you for all 10 of those hours so that you can time block it out. You can get that extra support that you need, or, build your days so that your time blocks are around when the kids are in school, or if you're taking care of parents when the parents are, okay on their own. So it's kind of, it's helps both sides, right?
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
so we've had a lot of clients that come to us after losing a freelancer who ghosted or just kind of burnt out. Um, we saw it a lot during COVID because the virtual assisting agency changed pretty quickly. The people that were contracted a lot of times, like the virtual assistant agencies back then and still are, but they were in the Philippines, Indonesia, India, and a lot in the Philippines. And during COVID, they're not actually virtual. They're virtual to us, but to them, they're in like a call center, right? And during COVID, all of those closed down. Philippines closed down everything well before North America did. And clients were just completely ghosted. They had no idea what was going on. They couldn't get in touch with their people. And that's what drove a lot of our business at the beginning. But we're seeing as time goes on and this virtual assisting model changes, we're still finding clients that are coming to us being like, I've lost my freelancer. They ghosted me. And it leads to so much stress. I actually met a woman the other day, and I talked about this in a call the other day with our business development manager. But when we talked to her about what we did, she started crying because she was like, I am so stressed out with this. I have 3 different freelancers and I can't get any of them to help me move my business forward.
Mm.
And it's, there's a lot of, there can be, if you are contracting and you're trying to like grab business everywhere and you're doing the business development and you're trying to find new clients and you're trying to do client work, like it leads to burnout. Something else I'm very passionate about.
Burnout among contractors is high because they're juggling so many things, because they're juggling so many different um, hats in their arena. But our model gives the team members a mentor, a space to grow, a place to ask questions, and a place to be supported. One of the things that I always emphasize when we bring in new people is you are not on an island. We may be remote and we may be virtual, but you have a full team here to support you.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things that people always find so surprising.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one of my favorite things about it. I actually reached out to one of our team members who I know works on a program that I'm interested in learning about. So we still use it to learn and grow, right? Like I can reach out and be like,
Absolutely.
hey, you're using this. Will you like show me the back end of how it works and help me learn it? So it allows us to keep that learning going, but also, you know, stuff is going to go down, right? Like we all live life, we all have families. We know that like there's going to be that day where someone is sick or you yourself are sick and you need to take that time off. If you don't have the support system in place, it can become really difficult. If you don't have the PTO to take a day off, you're going to try and work through that. Or if you don't have, the PTO and the understanding that like you can tell your client, hey, I need this time off while I deal with this, then you're probably just going to burn out and ghost your client, right? You're just going to be like, you know what? I can't handle this. Forget you. I have no support here. It's not worth my time. And you're going to go do something else. So I really do feel like our support system, I think, is one of our biggest retention tools. Um,
Agreed. I mean, we have team members that have been with you since the very, very beginning.
mhm.
And whenever we celebrate another anniversary, it's a lot of times surprised that they've been with us so long because they're like, oh, this has been such an amazing experience. It's really been this many years. I've really been with you 3 years. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. We had someone the other day post in our group chat. It was like an employee highlight and how big her kids had gotten. I was
I
like, oh
know.
my gosh, how long have you been with us for? But it's so great to see. So we touched on this a little bit earlier, and that's offshoring.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, we get so many emails when we're hiring from agencies being like, have you considered offshoring to the, and we don't, and we're very, very set on that. We
Very set on that.
also, when it comes to like the vendors that we use, we don't offshore those roles, like our HR and our marketing and all of that is all US based, usually other small businesses. I think the only big business we use is, QuickBooks because we have to. But it's usually small businesses, it's usually US based. And it's not because we don't believe in global industry. That's not what it is. But Megan, tell us what it is.
It's because we believe that there's a difference in quality. It's the understanding of how we operate here in the US. It's the standards, it's the professionalism that comes with it, and it's the drive. When we support other small businesses, it helps to drive us and to drive them forward.
Yeah, there's the on the one side, there's the ability to understand US business culture, to be in the same time zone, to reduce a little bit or to reduce the language barrier. But another thing that's really important to us is like the ethics and the impact behind it. When you're paying your VA firms, even if they're charging you $15 to $20 an hour, they may be paying their workers $3 to $5 an hour. And even if the country, like if you look at India, India has um, a minimum wage, but they don't have a really strong way to enforce it.
Well, and there's also the concerns about data privacy, working conditions, and inconsistent training.
Yeah. if you do decide to, offshore, and that's what some people need, then ask those questions like, what are the working conditions for your workers? How much are you paying them? What are your, you've got to know the data privacy, and you've got to know what kind of training and support that they have as well. I think
Well,
for
not just
me,
data privacy, but also data security. I mean, I think that those are two completely different topics, but
yeah,
you've got to make sure that both of those things are covered.
yeah, yeah. For me, it's the working conditions. Like, I would feel wildly uncomfortable hiring an agency for less than US minimum wage and expect them to be taking care of their workers in any way that I would see as ethical, and impactful on that society.
There's a big difference between saving money and cutting corners.
Mhm.
And with our US-based employed team, clients consistently get the accountability and the confidence that their assistant is supported and well trained. And
Yeah,
that's really our driving force.
yeah,
It's that reliability, consistency, and we're both very strong in our ethics and how we want our team to be supported.
yep. Okay, so from the client side, we've definitely, so we've talked about ethically doing the right thing. We just think it's kind of a smarter business decision, but let's talk about, if you are working with a agency overseas, or with a freelancer, like, what does that cost when it doesn't work out? Like, let's just talk about how much we invest into making sure it works out.
Yeah, our investment is huge. So when we onboard a new employee, they go through mentorship and they have that person, that pinpoint that they can go to. We also provide them with training. If they need any up level on their skills, we provide the up level on their skills. And then if there's sometimes there's communication flow issues when
Mhm,
the client and the assistant first start working together. Building new relationships can be bumpy. It just can be.
mhm.
And so one of the things that we provide is we provide the network and support to flow and smooth out those bumps, both through our business development side and our assistant support side, so that both our clients and our assistants feel completely supported and heard in this conversation so we can move through and create those efficiencies and
Yeah,
create that quality that people are really looking for and that we want and strive to give.
yeah. And then also, it helps our clients in that it's really kind of reducing their turnover, and I mean, what is it? I think statistics say it costs around $4,000 to hire someone just from like the hiring process. So if you're doing that again and again and again because you're not supported and your assistant isn't supported, and you're just like, oh, I can't work with this person, and you have to
And
hire again, like, you're burning
and
money.
the institutional knowledge that's being left every
Oh
time
gosh,
a person leaves.
yeah.
One of the things that we really try and do is we try and create SOPs within our clients and within the assistant's workflow to create a free flow, whether it's their assistant or whether it's another assistant on our team that's filling in for whatever reason,
Yeah,
a client. But we want to keep that consistency across the board.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. So we really, like, we feel that at Lyft, like, we really built it to create flexible work, dignified work for parents and caretakers who need it. And work for, the people that are balancing caregiving, health challenges, or even reentering the workforce. Those are things that are just it. This is why it drives our mission so much. Like, we really believe that creating that supportive environment, is what is needed in our society. And also it creates retention, which means our clients are not burning through assistance.
And
Um,
also, one of the things that our team members often say is because of our model, because of our flat rate hours, because of our strong boundaries and our adherence to our flat rate hours, they reduce burnout. They
yeah,
feel more energized. They feel more excited about what they're doing every day because of our business model and because we provide them the space to work and work hard. But more than that, we provide them the space for their personal life and their personal responsibilities. And there's a clear division between those. And again, it's the boundaries. But
yep,
our boundaries help reinforce their mission.
it does. We always tell our team members, like, come to work your time block, do the best job that you can with the ability that you have, and then clock out and go home and do the best job that you can with the ability that you have, and being a parent, a caretaker, a mother, a sister, a daughter, all of the things that we're doing outside of work, because they're equally as important. So thanks, Meagan, for chatting with me about this today. If this resonates with you, our listeners, or if you want admin help that's truly aligned with your values, then reach out to us. We love to have a discovery call. We love to tell you if we can help. Sometimes we meet people that we say, hey, our model isn't going to work for you, or, we don't have that in our skill set. So we'll definitely be honest with you. But we'd love to support your business in an ethical and effective way.
Katie.
Yeah, so we just want to thank everybody for listening today. And if you want to learn more about us, you can learn at liftbusinessresources.com. You can schedule a call directly there. You can find us on Instagram, and I think we're on Facebook, and definitely on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening today.
Thank you.